Yo, how's it going everybody? It's me, Arctic. Today's video we're going to be going over a weapons tier list for Shenhe to cover all of the current weapons of the game and also the upcoming weapon, the Calamity Queller for Shenhe, and basically how they're gonna all work on here. And so I'm going to be putting these in a category from best to garbage, basically covering these in somewhat of detail. I already made a weapons guide for Shenhe. If you guys want to check that out, that would be most appreciated. In that video I go into a little bit more detail than I'm going to go into in this video. How I actually rank my tier list is I do it based on how good they're actually going to be for the specific character, not necessarily how they're going to perform in terms of overall damage. This isn't really like a max damage. This is mostly to find the best weapons to actually use on Shenhe. So first up, the Blackcliff polearm, a pretty good weapon overall. Pretty good stats on it. Its passive is pretty good because it has attack percent, and attack percent is very nice on Shenhe. I'm gonna put this in the decent category right here because it is a pretty baseline weapon for Shenhe. You can get some good damage out of sub DPS if you're running Shenhe as a sub DPS, or as like a main DPS if you're running her as a main DPS. However, that's not really her specific role, and that's why it's down in a lower tier. The Royal Spear, this one is actually an okay weapon for Shenhe because it does actually come with attack percent as a substat, and it also has a pretty high base attack. But since it does have attack percent, it is going to be a little bit better than like a Blackcliff polearm if you are going for more as a supporting route. The Crescent Pike has a high base attack, but it doesn't really give you anything more than just like some extra fizz damage and actual damage procs. This one's really good if you are going for like a main DPS for a physical build, but it's not really good overall in Shenhe, and it's kind of an okay weapon, I would say. I would say it's in the okay tier for this. The Prototype Star Glitter, this weapon is basically going to be okay if you're running an Emblem 4-piece build on your Shenhe. Basically going for a lot of energy recharge, it gives you that pretty good burst uptime. However, the passive on this doesn't really help you out too much because you're not really going to be auto-attacking with your Shenhe. And so I put this in an okay tier. It's kind of a little bit more usable, I would say, than Crescent Pike. The Dragon Spine Spear, this one is worse than the Crescent Pike right here, just for the sole fact that it has a lower base attack, and you really want to have high base attack with your Shenhe because you are going to be stacking a lot of attack percent on her. The Dragon's Bane Spear, this one's not really that good either because it does have a low base attack as well, and it has EM, which honestly is a little bit better than fizz damage, I would say, for your Shenhe. The Catch, now this one is actually a pretty great weapon, I would say. I'd say this is the first great tier weapon because this one is going to give you a lot of burst damage. This weapon's also going to give you a lot of energy recharge, which is going to be nice on Shenhe just for keeping her burst up constantly. The Deathmatch, this one isn't that great just because of its base attack being low. However, its crit rate stat actually really does balance it out if you are going for more of an actual damage dealing Shenhe, so I'm going to leave this one in the decent category. Favonius Lance, this one's actually a pretty good weapon. It does come with a high base attack, and it also comes with some energy recharge on its substat, plus its passive is actually going to be pretty valuable because you actually can create more energy particles with this, which is going to give you a little bit more energy economy. So overall, this one is in a great tier. Cross Spear, this one comes with a high base attack, an EM substat, and its passive is going to basically convert some of your energy into more energy. It basically gives you a lot of energy economy, and it has a high base attack. So this weapon, I would probably say it's a little bit better than Blackcliff if you are going for like energy economy and that kind of stuff. However, it's still going to be lower than the Royal Spear because it does have an EM instead of attack percent substat. The Lithic Spear is a pretty cracked weapon on Shenhe. It comes with a very high base attack. Passive is also going to give you attack percent and crit rate for each leeway character that you actually have on your team. So Shenhe actually counts as a leeway character, so that's going to give you one of these stacks, but then you can also run some other characters like that with her as well. And it also has an attack percent substat, so it's honestly a very valuable weapon. And so I would put this in the best category because this is definitely a best in slot type choice for Shenhe. Similarly, the Wavebreaker's Fin is also a very good weapon. It has a very high base attack and attack percent substat, plus it also gives you a little bit more burst damage based on the burst cost of your teammates. I would put this one a little bit worse than the Lithic Spear just because the Lithic Spear is going to be such a valuable weapon for Shenhe. But this one definitely is in a best in slot kind of category for her. The 5 stars, and the first 5 star I'm going to be talking about is the Vortex Vanquisher. Now I have already made like detailed videos on each of these 5-star weapons for the main 5 that we have currently in the game. Vortex Vanquisher, it does come with an attack percent substat And basically, if you are attacking enemies, you are going to be able to get its stacks of extra attacks. So this one does give you quite a bit of attack percent. However, it does rely on you having actually a shield protecting you and potentially running Shenhe as an on-field character to get the most out of this weapon. It is still going to be pretty good, and it's definitely warrants being in the best category just because of its attack percent substat. It does have a higher base attack than these other options, but generally the gameplay loop usability on this, I still think it's going to be a little bit worse than these other two 4-star weapons just because of how its passive works. Spine is really good if you are going with a 4-piece emblem build, but it's also really good if you're just going for attack percent. It does have a very high base attack, and its passive does give you like extra crit rate and also damage procs if you are attacking with her auto attacks, but overall this weapon is a pretty solid choice for Shenhe, so I'm going to put this in a high great tier just because it's not really specifically that crazy on Shenhe, but it is still a pretty solid weapon. The Jade Spear, now I think this is actually going to be one of the best in slot weapons for Shenhe, so I'd actually put this over the Lithic Spear because this weapon does have a higher base attack, comes with crit rate as a substat, and you're also going to be able to stack up its passive passively because this weapon's passive actually can proc off of like skills and elemental burst damage, and so this one's a very solid weapon. The Engulfing Lightning, this one is going to be a little bit better than the Catch in my opinion just because you're going to be able to get more attack percent from this weapon and basically convert some of that energy recharge into attack. But I don't think it's going to be as good as the Skyward Spine. I just think that in terms of the amount of attack you're going to be able to get, Skyward Spine with like attack percent artifacts is going to get you more than the Engulfing Lightning with like energy recharge kind of focused stats. Homa is going to be a pretty good weapon. It does have a good base attack and its passive does give you some extra attack based on your HP. And this one's very good if you are going for a main DPS route. However, since Shenhe's main role is not main DPS, I'm kind of going to put this in the great tier. I'm going to put it a little bit, I'm actually going to put this above the Skyward Spine just because you're going to be able to get some good damage off of this. And last but not least, this is actually a placeholder for the Calamity Queller. It's not the weapon that I'm actually showing you on the screen right now. But yeah, this one is definitely best in slots for the sole reason that it has such a high base attack. It comes with attack percent substat, plus its passive gives you a lot of attack percent, up to like 36% if you're off the field with R1. Just very good, but once again, this is the Calamity Queller, her specific weapon that's going to be on the weapon banner this next patch. And so overall, that is the weapons tier list for Shenhe. Let me know if you guys liked the video down in the comment section below, and also what weapon you're going to be using on your Shenhe. But anyway, it's been me, Arctic. I will see you guys in the next one. Farewell.